Hello, and welcome back to The Communicative Leader. I'm your host, Dr. Leo Million Hodges, or Dr. O, and I'm so glad that you're here. If you've been following our journey, we have officially moved past the discovery phase. In level 1, we turned on the lights. We looked in the mirror, we mapped our default communication styles using the LCAR assessment, and we identified those fears that keep us silent, whether it's imposter syndrome, fear of rocking the boat, fear of being rejected. But as I say in my book, Amplifying Your Leadership Voice, From Silent to Speaking Up, knowing where you are, it's only half the battle. Now we have to actually do something about it. Today, we are officially entering level 2, refine your leadership voice. This is where the rubber meets the road. Level 2 is taking that raw, authentic voice you've discovered, and we're going to polish it until it cuts through the noise of a busy workplace or community center or family or team. Because when we work on our leadership communication, it helps us in all aspects of our life. So we're going to dive into chapters 4 and 5 today to talk about mastering your physical presence, and perhaps most importantly, how to lead within what I call the digital jungle. So we really want to focus on refining your reach. So when we move into chapter 4, it's kind of this physicality of impact. It's titled Speak with Impact, and it starts with the truth that many of us find a little bit uncomfortable. People are reading you before you ever open your mouth. Think about the last time you sat in a meeting. Before the speaker even said good morning, you likely had already made a subconscious judgment about their confidence, their mood, maybe even their competence, just based on how they entered the room or adjusted their chair. Feels a bit unfair, doesn't it? We spend hours, sometimes days, obsessing over the perfect words for a slide deck, but we completely neglect the delivery system for those words. Us. So, in this chapter, I break down what I call force multipliers. In physics, a force multiplier is a tool that amplifies your effort. In leadership, these are the verbal and the nonverbal cues that take a standard message and make it authoritative. We're talking about vocal variety, your posture, and what I call the power of a pivot, that internal setting that allows you to stay grounded and graceful, even when a colleague throws a curveball question you weren't expecting. To really understand how to captivate an audience, not just talk at them, but truly move them. I went to a master of the craft who understands the energy of a room better than almost anyone I know. In chapter 4, in our Conversations with Leaders feature, I chatted with Jimmy Gibson. And Jimmy is a master of engagement. He spent his career understanding how to hook an audience and how to keep them. He shares a perspective I think is vital for today's leaders, how to use communication to actually inspire a team rather than just inform them. So Jimmy and I, we talk about your nonverbal cues, your eye contact, your gestures, your physical proximity, how it can either build a bridge of trust or a wall of isolation. If you're leaning back with your arms crossed while talking about open door policies, your body is literally calling your words a liar. So here is your refinement tip for the week. I want you to practice the strategic pause. The next time you make a key point in a meeting, it can be a one-on-one, stop talking for 2 full seconds. Count them in your head. 1, 2. It will feel like an absolute eternity to you. I promise. You're going to feel this urge to fill that dead air with an or right. But to your audience, that silence signals massive confidence. It allows your point to actually land and breathe. Don't rush to fill the silence. Own it. You can find more in this full checklist of impact cues in page 78 of my book. So now let's look at chapter 5, leading through the digital jungle. It's one thing to master the physical room, but let's be honest, in today's world, the room is often a 13-inch laptop screen or a flickering Slack notification. So I want you thinking about chapter 5 when we think about writing to lead. I started calling the modern workplace the digital jungle. Why? It's dense, it's noisy, it's easy to get lost in, and let's be real, rules of engagement seem to change every time a new app is launched. Whether it's a quick DM, a formal board email, or a video call, your digital voice is often the only voice people hear for days at a time. If that voice is cluttered, passive aggressive, or confusing, your leadership becomes cluttered, passive aggressive, and confusing. Do you see? These follow suit. So when we're living in this world of reply all, endless notifications, the question we have to ask is, how do we maintain a leadership presence without just adding to that noise? To do that, we have to look at the actual anatomy of a digital message. So my friends, in chapter 5, I dive into the research on how our brains process written information versus the spoken word. One of the biggest mistakes I see brilliant leaders making in the digital jungle is over communicating while under connecting. We send 50 emails a day, but oftentimes we provide zero actual direction or emotional safety. In the book, I teach you how to master digital handshakes. It's these tiny, intentional interactions. A specific phrase in a Slack thread, a personalized opening to an email that build rapport and trust when you aren't in the same room. These are the verbal anchors that keep your team feeling seen and connected, even if they're working from 3 different continents. So here is a tactical step you can take today to respect your team's digital bandwidth. Before you hit send on your next long email, use the bluff method. Bottom line up front. We've all received those emails where you have to scroll through 4 paragraphs of, hope you're having a great Monday, just to find out there's a deadline at 4 p.m. Don't do that to people. Put the question or the why in the first sentence. I am writing to ask for your approval on Project X by Thursday. Then give the context. Respecting your team's time is a sign of high-level leadership. It shows you value their focus. If you want my full digital jungle survival guide and some of the specific templates I use for high-stakes messages, you'll find those in the second half of chapter 5. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with the thought that I hope sits deeply with you. Refining your voice isn't about adding more stuff to the way you talk or write. Actually, it's often a process of subtraction. It's about removing the filler, the hedge words that soften your authority, the digital clutter that drowns out your intent, and those nonverbal habits that distract people from your message. It's about clearing the brush so your true leadership can shine through clearly. Here is the most important part, my friends. Communicating like a leader, it is not a one-size-fits-all formula. Your refined voice shouldn't sound like mine, and it shouldn't sound like the person's in the office next to you. It is about intentionality over imitation. It is about embracing the unique perspective only you have and delivering it with clarity that demands respect. Whether you're an introvert who leads through thoughtful, precise emails or an extrovert who commands a stage, the goal is the same, my friends, to be authentic, to be heard, and to be helpful. This journey is made of tiny, thoughtful steps. You don't have to master the digital jungle by tomorrow morning. You just have to be a little more intentional the next time you hit send. If you're ready to stop being misunderstood and start leading with impact, everything we discussed today, from Jimmy Gibson's engagement secrets to my frameworks for digital leadership, it's laid out in a step-by-step form in my book, Amplifying Your Leadership Voice, From Silent to Speaking Up. Consider it a field guide for this transition. So you can go to the link in the show notes, grab your copy, and start refining your reach today. In next episode, we're moving to chapter 6 to talk about some cultural barriers and boundaries that can often keep us from being heard. Until then, keep speaking up and staying intentional.